Ready, Skipper?
Right on.
Chat later. Keep going now. Fuck live stream.
Oh, pretty bad. We're down there all day and then go and watch it.
Well, it's interesting sometimes.
When a good chat gets going, eh?
Yeah. Got to go. I'm just supposed to take that bit of cake over time. Oh, do you want it now?
No, I don't.
That'll be dried up for the Monday.
Yeah, better if it's not here.
Yeah. All right. See you later.
Right on. Good night.
Good night.
Hey guys, how you doing? Oh, we got a few crowding in. Make sure to hit that like button on your way in. Also, if you can confirm that you can hear me good and see me good, that'd be great. See, Mark is here, Brad, Michael, Andrew. Michael's been just waiting, just hanging in the balance. Good, good, good. I see, Michael, you're here with your crown on today. Real classy, real classy. Oh, Scott's here. Thanks, Scott. Did you watch the video I put up today? Hope you guys have all watched. If not, check it out after this one. But I show all the electrical work, and it was on a bit of a time crunch because we had to get the boat ready. As I explained in the video, you can see. Don't mean to give too many spoilers, but needed to get that electrical done so we could get it in the water for the boat parade. And I think if I remember correctly, I was doing that electrical work on a Friday evening, and I think Monday was the boat parade. And we don't generally work on the weekends, so it was go time. So threw the electrical in, got the lights up, and actually took it further than I expected. And we just had a grand time. As you can see, the big grand finale to the video, the big ending with the fireworks and the lights, and it was pretty cool. It's a pretty cool concept for the boats to go out like that in a parade. All the lights on, people blowing their horns. I realized when I got out there, I did not have a horn. Some of the boats, whoo, whoo, as they were going, which was cool, but I don't have a horn. But if I put one in, I'd love a real nice compressed air horn, something that really rips. I wanted one of those on the flatbed truck project when I did the build. I really wanted that blasting like train horn almost. I just love that. No ahugas. I do not like those types of horns or the little show tunes, or I do not like any of those horns. And it's hard to get a good horn. I searched so long when I was building that flatbed truck project for the right horn. I guess what it comes down to is I didn't want to spend the $1,000 that it seemed like it cost to get one of those serious horns. And it was always also a space issue. Not a lot of room under the hood of those Vanduras. Everything crammed up. The hood is about 12 inches long. It's not a whole lot of space there. And then you need to put, as a tank, little compressor, hose running up to your horn. But they sound so good. When I was a young fella, just a kid, just a boy, I can remember Pop had I guess it would be a 90s Dodge Ram, real beautiful Dodge Ram, single cab, 8-foot box, real classic. And it was just a beauty of a truck, really nice. I think it may have even been lifted. Some bigger wheels on it, just a nice looking truck. And he had one of those under the hood. I don't know how it came to be, but it was so fun to have a horn that was louder than everyone else's around. Basically like a transport truck, semi-truck horn. It was so fun. And I can remember everyone just trying all the time to frighten any time someone was unsuspectingly, someone in the family, someone well-known, walking by the front of the truck, burp, or just a chirp, right? Bop. And it was a good times. I had a good childhood. Very privileged in that way. Mark, I'm glad you enjoyed that video, sir. I'm glad you enjoyed the console fit out. It has been working great. So that would have been the first of this month, July. We're into just the start of July for that event. I don't think it was on Canada Day. I think it may have been the 2nd or the 3rd, something like that. I don't quite recall now. But when I launched it for that weekend, and fishing was that weekend, so I put it in the water. I went out fishing Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and then there was a boat parade after that. The boat has not been out of the water since. So it's been out, it's been off and docked up for just about a month now. I've been using it throughout the weeks when it's nice hot weather throughout the week. Fishing is open 3 days on the weekend, and I'm out at least 2 of those 3 days. I don't usually go on Sundays, but just been putting it to it. Got probably $300 plus of gas through the engine so far. Hang on, guys. I got to close the window here. And that's not hard running either. I don't run real hard. Actually, when we're running out fishing, if it's just me and a couple of the girls, we rip pretty good. Go out and in pretty hard and fast. But and then they don't mind that. But if the wife is aboard, she does not like the speed runs. So we're just out dawdling if the wife is aboard. She doesn't like the wind ripping, or, here on the Atlantic, it's almost always a little bit chilly. It has to be very odd, near perfect weather for it to actually be warm or hot out there on the water. The water just holds a lot of cold, and when the wind is moving around, the breeze is moving off the water, the wind is chill, it's cool. John, knife you sent me got all rusty. Helped on a roof project, left it out. Oh, your helper on a roof project left it outside without your knowledge. Found out last week. Any suggestions on a method to clean it up? Yeah, Evaporust. Mr. Dangerous there recommends, and there are a couple products like that, but Evaporust works great. For me, when that happens to me, I use a brass wire wheel, the fine wire wheels that I have here in the shop. But not everyone has that. But and it also can alter the finish of your knife slightly. But something like an Evaporust, very easy to do. You just put it in, let it soak. It's not a harsh chemical. It won't eat up your handle or anything like that. But if you can submerge it, just the blade, if you could submerge it, stand it up in a glass so that it was just to here, that would do great. Clean up your blade. By the way, my knife is taking a good beating, guys. A real good beating. I'm using it regularly out fishing in the salt water. And it's actually got a bunch of fish scales and dried blood and everything on it there now. Pretty messy. Still using it, whacking the paint cans. But it's awesome. Absolutely love it. I've sharpened it probably a half dozen times just because it's quick here in the shop. So when I'm sharpening a batch of knives, I'll pull one out and just pull my knife out, just give the edge a brush, touch it up, and it works great. I like it for a lot of times when you're out fishing, when you pull a cod up out of the water, you just snick the underside. I won't say too much here, but snick the underside, hold it over the boat, just give it a rinse. And I usually flick my knife too down in the salt water just to quickly rinse it off. It's quicker and safer than getting the fiddling knife out of the sheath on the dash every time. But it's nice. I've done some good fishing so far this year, guys. Plenty of fishing. And there'll be a video coming next week. The next episode is pretty much just using the boat. A little bit of project work, but it'll be just a lot of footage of using the boat. And having a blast. What I see? Wind, paint, and final finish. Actually, Scott, that will be this winter. I've decided I'm running it as is in its raw form for the summer because I really want to take my time with the final fit and finish and paint work. And I knew that if I did it now in the summer during boating season, I'd be rushing through it. I'd be, not taking the time to fix things that should be fixed, and I'd be just kind of burning through it as fast as possible. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted to take my time and get it really, really dialed. And so I'm running it for the summer bare aluminum. And this winter, when it comes up for the season, comes out of the water, we'll take the console back out of the boat, which is kind of a killer to think about, to scrap everything out of the boat for the winter. And then I'll spend a few months just picking at it as I can, picking at it, dialing everything in, body fill pinholes, flap wheel, any spatter. I'm hoping to have a pressure pot set up for the sandblast for the compressor by then. I could take it out by the door there and just blast the whole finish with something fine, just so it's a good textured bite. Then I'm going to prime it, paint it. And then, so part of the reason too is so I can make changes going forward. And I'm already seeing, as I mentioned, the changes that I'd like. I want, I don't think it needs any reinforcement. I need to change. I want to change what I was doing with the front window. There are things I want to change. Then I'm going to work on putting in my sound system and that type of thing, which I'd like to do a good job with. But good question. I love answering questions about the boat project. I'll ask you guys a question. What color should the console be? So my boat is white outside, a white hull. The inside is a very light gray, so I'm probably going to repaint the inside a light gray. I'm wondering what color to do the whole console. Should I do it white to match the boat? Should I pick a color, a gray, a dark gray, a metallic? Thinking I might do like an automotive paint and spray it. So really sky's the limit for a color. And then I'm going to get some graphics or something for outside, something nice, get the name put back to side. What color do you think I should go with? The name of the boat, I'll give you the name of the boat. It's called the Ocean Jade. Jade, Jade. It's actually one of my wife's names. So the Ocean Jade. I just thought that was a beautiful name. It came to me. They're probably 2 years ago. I'm going to get a nice graphic done up with that. Light gray, yeah. Question on the boat electrical. Why did you only fuse one branch of the positive side? I'm trying to picture now. So we have main power coming in to that big battery disconnect switch. And then we run up through a fuse to this panel. You're asking why coming down here to the bus bar, did I not fuse it? The main power? Just clarify before I answer, buddy, if you would. Thanks for sharing as well, Strapped and Dangerous. Thanks for sharing your comments on the Evaporust. He says he's used it and no damage to the forged finish. So you're left with that beautiful forged finish. When you take it out and dry it, then give it a little swipe with a little 3-in-1 or a little 3-in-1 or a little mineral oil, something like that. A deep jade color console? That would be a bold choice. That would be a bold choice. I don't know if I'm bold enough for that. To do like a blue-green console? That's intense. Originally, I was thinking like a darker metallic gray. Now I'm thinking like a really nice milky white, high gloss, single stage white. I'm back and forth on it. I think the white would look really sharp with the black trim windows and stuff. I think it would look really nice. No fuse to the control modules. I think there are, buddy. I think pretty much every run is fused there. I can't think. Okay, it's been like close on 5 weeks now since I've put it together. And so I'm trying to picture, and it was installed inside the console, locked in the console of my boat. So I haven't really looked at it since then. I'm trying to remember every circuit and how it runs. And I think there are fuses on everything, but I may have missed something that you're talking about. I have a breaker on the upside to the panel, and then an unfused out to the control modules. But each of those modules, I don't know if you've seen there, but each of those loops has an inline fuse, every one of them. Perhaps you don't see that well on the let me see if I have a picture here. Yeah, maybe you just didn't catch that. There's quite a mess of wires because of the way those are done. It is a mess of wires, and that's why it's nice to have that kind of pre-wiring done for you, because if not, you'd have to run all that yourself, and it's a mangled mess. By the time you go fuse, relay, up to the switch, main power, Scott, sounds boring. I actually love electrical work like that and electrical panel work. I love it. Residential wiring as well. Really love it. A lot of fun. I've had the opportunity to do a bunch over the last half a decade. And I just like electrical work. And designing that electrical panel and running everything for the lights was fun. And I will say it's been out now. It's been, like I said, it's been tied up to a dock on the Atlantic for 5 weeks, rocking around at the dock, getting rained on and hammered. And I checked today because we've had a ton of rain the last couple of days, just a couple little droplets inside the console. I'm thinking that could have come in through the cup holders, maybe because there are drains on them, maybe something like that. But just a couple droplets, which is really nice to see. Gunship gray is Chad's vote. Someone says a deep jade color. Let the girls pick the color. I don't think that's a good idea, Gerald. I can guess what colors would be suggested. Can you guys guess what my girls might pick? And it's not a trick question. They'd be probably very cliche on this one. Pearl white, yeah, something like that. Purple with purple or pink, I'd say, would be their vote. Yeah, they differ day to day. If one says pink, the other one don't like pink anymore, and that was purple. If that one says purple, well, the other one doesn't like purple anymore. Her favorite color is pink this day. They're at this all the time, so they kind of dribble back and forth. Yeah, pinstripe would be fun. Maybe we should do a bright colored pinstripe around the rim of the console. Maybe just make it a little more visible. We see I'm all healed up now. The forehead is all good. Excellent. I believe it was mailed out. Yesterday, I'm pretty sure. If I could, old school pinstriping, yeah. can he do any of the, the really cool central designs? That would be wicked on the front side of the console beneath the window. That would be awesome. But you might just be talking about straight lines, which is also really beautiful. Let me show you guys a project I'm working on real quick. This project has been actually in motion for probably 16 months now or something like that. And that is a boardroom table, the upstairs in my shop. And you can see this is a big table here, a big table. To throw the funds to buy a table this size would probably be thousands of dollars, which I wasn't interested in. So this is local 2x4 lumber, selected at the local mill, dried for quite a long time. This is steel rods every 12 or 16 inches, washers and nuts on the end, cranked down when it was glued, really planed nicely, dress the whole top and bottom, the rim around the sides. It's so glossy it's hard for you to see, but I just put the first coat of finish on it, and I'm sure it's going to be a table that my family are going to enjoy and color up with crayons possibly. But I'm excited about it. We've got some big steel frame legs welded up for it. And it's just something, it's not something that's super important, which is why it's taken the kind of time that it is. It's not something that I can devote days to working on. It's just, by the end of the workday today, I squeezed in just enough time to put on the first coat of polyurethane. And maybe next week sometime I'll get to give it a little sand and another coat, and it might be another couple months before it gets all up there and set up, but I hope not. High detail hot rod pinstripe, that is very cool. Mr. Conklin, you made it. A stylized seal hunter, like I was in that video. Oh, did you see that fur cap? Makes me wanna dress up with that fur cap again now. What a great boat, guys. So I don't know, well, you know enough about seal hunting as you saw on that video, but what a boat to be out seal hunting in, to have that nice closed in and sealed front. I've been thinking about making some stuff up front, like a modular system where there's a base plate for the floor. Having the tools and skill set to fabricate, it just opens up a whole world. You can make whatever you want. And so I've been thinking about having a base plate up front and having some modular items that go in there that kind of live in the shed or here at the shop. And if you're going seal hunting, you can take out your seal pedestal and sit it in, and you've got your padded aluminum post with your rack with a made-up cushion and that type of thing. And if you're going out family in the summer sun, then you've got your table pedestal that you can go and snap in there. Yeah, Chad, that idea, if you can dream it, that you could build it, is so much fun. I just love it. Team up with Buck and try to do a KN Buck collaboration. I don't think that would happen. I think there are a lot of guys out there that would collaborate with Buck before they'd look at little old me. I would imagine that I'm pretty much a nobody with Buck. Maybe they've glossed it over, or social media team has picked up on my custom builds. Maybe they've seen it, No doubt they do comb social media just to see, they search Buck 110 or Buck 112 on YouTube. They search around just to see what people are saying about their product. I'm sure that type of stuff goes on. No doubt someone has seen my content out there somewhere, but Puma has seen my work, my restorations and work, and they've now the United States headquarters, I'm looking for the right word, the United States headquarters for Puma knives have me on their list. So if someone contacts them in North America looking to have a Puma knife rebuilt, repaired, restored, I'm their guy. They send them directly to me. So that's cool. But Puma, although Puma makes incredible knives in terms of scale and production, I don't believe they're anywhere near a buck. I've got several really nice Pumas come my way right now for restoration and rebuild, and I cannot wait to dig into them. Very excited. Speaking of knives here, I have just two beautiful knives to show you tonight, and both are available as of right now. They may not be available as of later tonight, but if you want to shoot me an email, you can throw my email there. You can also shop at knknives.ca. These are not on the site. The ones I showed you guys last Friday are not on the website yet. If Dad is watching this, he's grumbling. If Dad is watching the stream, a lot of times he does. So he's probably grumbling by now. Oh, if he don't get those knives up. But let me show you this Prevail, and it is exquisite. The leather work is just flawless. The piece of hide here. Nice snug fit. Have a look at that. Does it get any classier? Forge finish, really nice flat grind. We have an awesome burl, kind of a fusion. It's an epoxy filled, but not a ton of epoxy, but a really nice burl wood. We've got a brass natural micarta and a brass liner stack here, and then a sapel wood in the rear. Let's have a look there. You see that polished tang? You see those lines? Just the richest coffee brown here in the back. Really, really nice. This is a beautiful piece. Just finished up yesterday, I believe. And it's available. If you're interested in one of the finest Prevails that's ever rolled out of the shop, this is one right here. Just a really, really nice piece. And then alongside it is a Bake Apple, and this is just thrown in a black pocket clip sheath right now. Here we are. Look at that. Blue curly maple. You can see just how strong the figuring is in it. Antler, brass inlay lapped with black on either side. Isn't that just stunning? Isn't that just stunning? Beautiful, even forge finish on this one. I like how with the forge finish, everyone is a little different. Sometimes they come out with a ton of figuring on them. Sometimes they have more of an even finish. But just a really nice setup, the thick black liner there. Pair that with a brown pocket clip sheath or even a belt sheath. What a fine companion, or an EDC knife. Just nice. And again, guys, this one is available right now. So if you want to shoot me an email, I'll answer first come, first serve. That's how we'll do it. Okay, you guys are getting crackly audio. I apologize for that. We actually had the internet go out completely just yesterday, I believe. The internet went out completely. The Starlink went down, It came back on sometime in the evening. I'm not sure when, but I only knew it because the security system came back online. The maximum overall length possible for blades in your current forge setup, real 12 inches. 12 inches is about the largest blade that I can do right now. Glad you guys like those knives so much. Glad you really like the blue bake apple. Just a phenomenal piece. So classy, but yeah, you've got the right blue that just makes it fun too. It's fun. It's fun building beautiful knives. I saw Strapped and Dangerous comment. Where was it? He says he would love to see me do limited run sets, like 12 total. So like build sets early in my knife making career. I don't think I've done it at all at the shop, other than the 2 sets that are on the books right now, which is the set of Remembrance Day Pucos, of which I'm going to send you an email there, Mr. Dangerous, about that. I know you asked about that. That set, the bird and trout set, I'm building now a limited run as well. If anyone wants to get in on that, we're doing a custom bird and trout knife. It's being sketched up right now. That will probably be built pretty soon, pretty quick. But they're going to be spectacular. Little more compact of a knife. So I think that'll be the only sets, like numbered sets, built at this shop so far that I can recall. But early in my knife making career, I would do sets like that. The first run of Bake Apples was a run of 6, I believe. The first run of Islanders was a batch of 10, and that's how I was doing it. And you had, number 6 of 10, number 4 out of 6, that type of thing. And I would even stamp them occasionally at that point. They would be stamped when I do a set like that. So this would be number 6, right? Would be stamped on the blade there. And then your certificate would say number out of. It's really fun. I like that. It's great for collector value. It's something fun to know. It lets you keep an eye on your blade. I like that. You said, do you teach yourself heat treat method, or did you learn from someone? So I have no one local in my life. I have never sat with anyone or been with anyone to learn any of the skills I have, but learned a lot of reading, a lot of studying, that type of thing. And when it comes to heat treat work, it's something that's so niche and honestly kind of old school. So there isn't a lot of guys on there, and it isn't a popular topic. So it's not like there's a ton of videos on there with instructionals on how to heat treat 01 to 59 HRC or something like that. And so that takes studying, and most of the resources that help you find that information are old resources, a lot of times books, machinist books and things like this, machinist forum sites and stuff like that. And I just popped up there, trial and error learning for something like heat treating. There was some of that as well. There was a bunch of that in the first few years, really, especially in the first year. I went through 3 or 4 different forge setups working to get enough heat, fast enough, sustainable, clean heat. I've built a few different propane forges now just to help get temperatures just like I want. It's been a long period of learning. At this point, there's a lot of experience involved, but it is fun. I'm really happy with the heat treat, and the feedback I constantly get on the heat treat is really, really great. A lot of guys are, and I'm just throwing this out there, but a lot of guys are blown away with the capability, the edge holding capability of their 01. And people are really excited, and that excites me because, as you guys know, I'm a big time 01 lover. I love it. I love how it works in the forge. I love how it grinds. I love how it sharpens, the edge that it takes. And so when you guys get excited about it, it's encouraging to me. Very encouraging. A bird and trout without scales? No, it will have scales. We'll have scales, buddy. It'll be a fully done knife. Really, really nice. I think we decided recently that we're going to do polished blades on those. They're going to be... price shouldn't be too outrageous because a bird and trout is not a big knife. It's a fairly compact knife, bigger than the bake apple, although actually a little more lean than the bake apple. I picture maybe even a little bit of a recurve tip, a little bit of a sharp finger type tip, if you know what I'm talking about. But I'm excited about those. Scott says, if you launched another Islander, would you change or revamp anything? To date, still my absolute favorite knife. Really? Interesting. That is your absolute favorite knife. And that is probably the shortest lasting pattern that I ever built. I think I only made 1 or 2 sets and then a few customs. It was a cool pattern. It was a cool pattern. I'd have to look up. I've still got it drawn on paper here. Something I think I would do is the butt of the Islander is fully domed. So there is no facet like this. It's fully domed, which is extremely hard to do by hand. It takes a lot of time because as you're rounding, every time you swipe, you get some facet. And every time you swipe, even on a really slack belt, even if you run, there's a facet. And then you work that one off and there's another facet. And you're just chasing these facets around the dome of the end of the handle. And it's really irritating. It's hard to get a good finish. So I would probably wrap some type of a facet so I could end, and that way you can do a face. You can have a face and have it flawless. But when it's a domed end, you keep facet. And so I will probably get rid of that. And that's just from a production standpoint. It just eats up so much time for such a silly little process. Other than that, I think I would pretty much keep everything the same. I might keep everything the same. I would do a different sheath. I didn't like that. If I remember correctly, they were all scout style cross draw sheaths. I wasn't a huge fan of the look of the sheaths as I look at them in recent years on pictures. Not how I would do it now. I would do a vertical carry, probably strap retention, really nice profile to that sheath. Little things we do different. It's funny though, the things that you remember, because I don't attribute myself to having a great memory. It's kind of laughable here in the shop some days, the stuff that I forget. You lay something down, you have no idea where you put it, and just pieces of information that don't sit in. But then, things like that just sit there. And I can remember builds. I had a guy stop by, I'll say a visitor stop by who bought a hatchet from me back in 2017. I have not spoken to this gentleman since 2017. He stopped in and he said his name, and I remembered his name just like that right away. Mr. Danger says, you need your marketing department to let the world know about next year's limited runs well in advance. Pre-orders to specific design, super value. So you would like... So you think advertise for the limited runs next year starting now? So you would like to know what limited edition runs are coming next year? Do you think that would be Think that would be suitable? How many you gonna do on the run of bird and trouts? It depends on how much interest I have. I may do 8. I may do a run of 8. Finger loop on the bird and trout, like the hole to come through? No, I don't think so. I picture do something we never done before. Let's try something we've never done. Being put on the spot here now. Let's see. Let's do a little better than 1 inch so we have a little more space to work with. So probably okay, let's say there. I'm picturing a handle that's kind of straight and then maybe slight slender recurve. Kind of that upswept straight edge there. Not too much of a trying to get that slight, not a recurve on the edge. Something, yeah, it's not looking super defined because of the way I'm doing it here, but I would drop this edge here ever so slightly more, have it trail down a little bit earlier and even a little bit more pronounced right here of a drop and a slight recurve. That's what I would like to build. That's what I have floating around. Yeah, a little bit of that style. That's what I would like to do for this bird and trout. Kind of compact. Not a huge blade. You know, we're only in 3.5 inches on a blade. We're in 4 3/4 or so on the handle. So not a real big knife, fairly compact. Nice dandy little sheath. It's going to be really nice. I want to do an indented. It'll be sort of notched, side notched here, because a lot of times as you use this style of knife, you're holding it like this, which when I develop my filleting knife, which I have sketches done up, it's going to have an angled divot here of sorts, so that when you're holding it like this, your thumb just sits in there, which is just what you'd want for that style of knife. Lots of good traction points, but that's the rough idea there. That's the rough idea. So you just saw me pull something out of the dome live. Looks like we got Michael sold. Michael sending in a deposit. Just get it done. All you guys just start shooting in your deposits. We'll take them. Sooner the word is out, sooner they sell. Yeah, that's a good point. Good point, John. Alan, you're here, bud. Nice to see you. Looks like we got Ariel in for one. Michael's in for one. Oh, good question. I think I would put it on both sides because it will not affect the grip when you're holding the knife, but that would let it be an ambidextrous knife. It won't affect the grip. It won't be so pronounced that it'll feel awkward when you're using a standard grip for your knife, but it'll be there, and your hand will fall in, your thumb will fall into it. Be an ideal like caping knife, bird and trout knife, small game knife. Oh, just your bird and trout. That's your general usage. Ship next week. Won't be ready next week, but now that we have a sketch in, it might unfold a little better. But will we ever see a KN folder? Oh, maybe. I would love to one day, but I don't see it at this point being a production piece. Okay, so we got Ariel, we've got Michael, we've got Chad. Chad's interested. Of course you're interested, Chad. Who we got here? Brad, of course Brad King wants a real nice bird and trout. Scott wants a nice bird and trout. John's waiting for his Bowie. John, your Bowie is here behind me on the table. We can build it. Cut the brass guards for it. Oh, now Michael's talking. One for his brother? What a guy. Guys, I didn't ask at the outset, as I usually do. One, how was your week? And two, our buddy Mark is here. Mark, if you're still watching, I wanted to ask, when I saw your name pass, I was talking about another topic, and I thought, I wonder how Mark's granddaughter is doing this week. So Mark, if you're still here, I would love to know, buddy. I'm sure a bunch of these guys here would as well. Hey, Brad, matching earrings. You got it, buddy. We could do it. I'm writing down. See this paper with the sketch? I'm writing down names right now. So Chad is in. Michael's in for 2. Ariel's in. Brad is in, only if he can get matching earrings. I'll make a note of that. Some outlandish bright synthetic handles to hold up to the guts and gore. Would you guys want, my intentions were to do something real classy, maybe like a desert ironwood or something, and a mirror polished blade. Mrs. King, come on. Brad's a good guy. Brad really deserves this knife. He really deserves it. Scott, I would love to see that picture, buddy. I would love to see a picture of one of those old girls. I do have a couple studio shots of that set that yours came from. But my studio shots that far back were pretty lackluster, and it's just a snap of them on the bench. Albeit in nice coloring, but the look, yeah. Maybe some married men, John, aren't toy guys. I don't know. I can be a spender like that. My wife is very simple when it comes to purchasing things. She's not a big spender, not a big purchaser, very low maintenance like that. But I, on the other hand, like like the goodies. I like the fun things in life. The bikes and the motorcycles and the knives and the boats and the pew pews and all those sorts of things. I'm afraid to say the name. I see other people are afraid to say the word. Ariel, that is good thinking. That is good thinking. Nail the design down first and say X will be made. No haggling over design. I love that. That's a great thought. And I was talking to my uncle the other day about. I was talking to someone the other day. Maybe uncle, maybe not. I was talking about how I would love to build a little marina. And I said, but the expense is so huge. And whoever I was talking to said, you just need to get other people to buy into the project. And I said, then you invite all these opinions. And he says, no, you can't do it like that. You need to say, this is what I am building. Do you want to buy in or not? And I said, oh, that makes a lot of sense. It's a simple tweak, but it changes everything. Are you buying into my project or are you not being a part of the project? And I think that's kind of what you're saying there, Ariel, is you state the knife, you show the knife or the product. This is what we're doing. And then you move on. Who's interested in buying into this project? A lot of comments just flying in there. I'm just ironwood is very beautiful. But there's like something like a curly maple too. There's so many good options out there. I have some gorgeous stuff here in the shop right now. Yeah, I get that, Chad. I get that. Although I do find the polished blade does hold up the best against any moisture or anything like that. How long is the blade on the Bowie? This particular Bowie, I believe, is carrying a 7-inch blade with a brass guard. And the lines are just perfect. The lines are just perfect. I like a good Bowie. I really like it. What toy purchase did you feel most guilty about? My side-by-side, the Polaris Ranger. I still feel mildly guilty about that because they are so ridiculously expensive and it's just not a constant use item. That said, it would be really hard to be without one because when there's a huge storm in the winter, we get snowed in. The side-by-side is great. If we've got to move things around the yard, side-by-side. If we're heading down to the boat, we use the side-by-side. But I've had it since 2021, and I have about 2,500 kilometers on it. And if you do the math on that, that is a very expensive per kilometer rate. And so that's the one I probably feel most guilty about. I don't think I feel guilty, but if I were to say, which one do you think was the most unwise or poor use of finances, it would be the Ranger. But again, like I said, I don't think we could be without one. Leadership is certainly an interesting topic, Mr. Dangerous. I'd love to chat to you more about it, given your career and what I know about you. I expect at some point, I won't say too much here on the live stream, but I expect to delve into some local politics, municipal, provincial, something like that. Given the amount of things that I've learned being in business, my skill sets, my academic career or achievements, my interest in how I want to see my community move or my province move or my country. And the amount of following and attention I've built with my TV show and social media and those types of things just seems like a natural fit that I would love at some point to step into the ring with. Like local council would be like first level. Right now I'm on our local church board, which is ground level leadership. But I expect to go that direction in time. I do. Mr. Dangerous said we need people of your caliber and character as leaders. That's a lofty way of speaking about me, but I do feel like, that there's a little bit of duty that I should make progression like that as time goes on, to bring what I have learned and what I know and my experiences and skill sets to the table. So we'll see. Again, guys, just checking out the info here, or the comments that flew in. Todd has 3 bowies. Love bowies. I have 3 great knives. Bowies are fun. We like bowies around here. Nurk, I missed the news. Are you releasing when they move? Mine are still jumping on this end. They're rolling up, so I have to stop. Are you releasing a puka line? I am doing a special Remembrance Day or Veterans Day release of pukas. Very select number built. They will be numbered. There will be a build series video filmed and edited and released on Veterans Day or Memorial Day. We have a number of people bought into that project right now, and they're going to be really, really nice. So if you want to get in on a really special build, a build that carries a lot of weight and that carries a lot of importance and class, I think it's a great project to be a part of. Chad says, regret nothing, live like you want to within your means, respect others how you want to remain respect, and the rest will fall into place. I would probably challenge some ideas there. I have regrets already in my life, but I get the premise of what you're saying there, buddy. John says you're being called. Not yet. Not yet. We'll see. We'll see. I am really enjoying my life despite the weights and the burdens and things that it comes with, and it definitely comes with a lot of that. Sometimes my wife and I just feel crushed, but I think it's just because we hold a lot of high standards and we're pushing for so many things. And in the business, if you were someone that just didn't care, John, I got you, buddy. I was just being silly there, but I got you. I appreciate you saying so. Yes, sometimes we just feel a little bit crushed, but as my wife and I have talked about, like, we just feel burdened sometimes, so heavy, and we say, sometimes we think it's just because we have so many things that we're striving for. We want a godly home, and we want a home that manages finances well, and we want a home that's put together and tidy, and we want quality children that have good standards and good morals and character. Sorry, guys, I just had to plug in the laptop there. And then on top of that, of course, there's just so much we want. My wife wants to be excellent at her job in her career. I want to be excellent in my business and to not let you guys down. And I want the business to be able to help other people and to provide jobs. And of course, then there's, if you're involved with a local church, and as my family is, I feel a duty as someone who's, I'll just say basically, as someone who's a Christian, I feel a duty to work in my church and help carry the church and do the work of the church. And when you hold all these standards, just like I know you guys do as well, the more you have tacked onto that, the more categories you have to excel in, it just piles on and piles on. But what would be the fun of living without any of that? It would be pretty boring. And I would think a pretty menial existence if you didn't care about anything or anyone. You were just living for you. I think that would be a bit of a poor existence. Show us a few knives before you end, please. John, you feel that I'm not ready yet? I do wonder about that. Often. It's only the last couple years that I've started teaching and taking a leadership role in the church here. And that does not come to me lightly. I take those roles very seriously. That's a heavy choice. Every time I get up to lead a Bible study or stand in the pulpit to preach, which has only happened a few times, that's a big weight. If you take the role seriously, it's a big weight. John, that is another issue. For something like the church, I believe that almost supersedes everything else, except for maybe my immediate family. But I don't want to fail or let too many things down. So definitely have got to manage that properly. The boat project, at minimum, the boat project has to be clued up and done before I could move into anything like that. That'll free up maybe 30 hours in a week. Absolutely, John. Preparing and working towards that. Let's see. Oh, show us a few knives before you end. Buddy, I don't have a ton of knives to show you. Just give me 1 second if you would. I'll show a couple pieces here that are sitting here in the cabinet waiting for pictures so they can go on the website. These are all available, so I'll show you. I might have showed a couple of these last week, but I think this one was done this week. A red mini tradesman. And this is to match the original mini tradesman when they were released back in, maybe late summer 2023. The full-size tradesman was initially released, and it was released with the red G10. And this is the matching mini with the red G10. Isn't that something? I wish I had a full-size one here to stack up next to it just to show you this adorable pair. But what a perfect set. I think I just may as well. Yeah, that sounds right. I just might design. I have to build it for a couple clients now, I think anyways, and that is a sheath set, a piggyback sheath set for the full-size tradesman and the mini, so they can ride it on one belt loop together. And but to have the red mini matching the full-size, the original. Oh, John's got the red in the full-size. John has one of the early ones. Mr. Dangerous, we're getting to it. You're one of the guys that I was just talking about, where we have to build that piggyback setup. I can see some of you guys are gunning for it. You want it. So it's definitely coming. Probably next week it'll be done up. But let's show you here. Bake apple in a matte texture. This is like an olive drab, like an army green, brass hardware. Just a really slick, all kinds of texture on this matte finish. I've been really enjoying playing with this material and leaving that matte finish. It's just got all the bite in the hand. Really cool, but it is available. And then I was about to say for the ladies, but I can't be doing that. I can't be doing that. For anyone who might be interested, bake apples in hot pink and dusty rose. Stabilized curly maple. You can see the difference, little more figuring on the dusty rose here compared to the slightly less figured hot pink. But in the saber grind black liner, these are just cool. So bright. They're a lot of fun. Your little girl loves them? Yeah, I bet she would, buddy. Just very cool, classic pieces. It looks that curly maple. Just so interesting up close. Really, really nice. And a lot of fun. Chad wouldn't want a piggyback sheath, just a pocket sheath. The new pocket slip sheath, pocket clip sheath for the mini is fantastic. And you can see it also fits the bake apple just as well. Designed to fit both knives, which is really, really nice. But it's a great setup. Oh, that pink Ontario Rat 1, that's a throwback. I ripped those scales off and built my own custom ones way back in the day. And that was in the very early stages of me doing any knife work. Whoa, I'm going way over time. Yikes. If my wife is watching, I apologize, dear. I'm heading home right now. Alan, it's great to hear that your bake apple's been your go-to for EDC. Alan, do you have a pocket clip sheath? I don't quite remember. Okay, Alan has a pocket sheath. Nice, nice, nice. Jose says, are we here in the USA allowed to ship knives to you for upgrades? Also, how can you tell if your knife is heat treated properly? You can tell by doing edge tests, surface indentation tests. That's a really simple way. If you're really bold, you could do a drill test, but you could take like a normal hardware store punch. I don't have much information. I don't know exactly what you're trying to figure out, but you know, my knives, annealed steel, I can take a center punch, snap, and I can put a nice divot in the steel. And then I run it through heat treat, and I take it out and take my center punch, snap, and I flatten the end of my punch and do not mar the steel. So that's just a really basic way of a comparison. It's really cool to show. That would actually be a cool demonstration to set up here in the shop, just to show file tests. File test is another great test to do. But Jose, you can absolutely ship to me here in Canada, although you have to abide by our prohibited items list. No centrifugal opening, no assisted opening of any type. So loose pivot, centrifugal opening, assisted openers, automatic knives, none of those. And I have lost so much business because of that. There's so many knives. There's so many guys with buck 110 autos that want to send them in and will or cannot. Those things affect. One more little item before we head out. Something that's coming soon. This is just a rough version. Keychain pendants. Solid brass. How do you like that? Just a beautiful little fidget as well. Little fidget toy. So weighty, slick, and polished. Very cool. Do you want one? I appreciate you guys hanging out here. I truly appreciate it. Yes, thoughts and prayers for Mark's granddaughter. That's a tough one, I hope you guys have a great weekend, a really great weekend. I see the comments popping in here. I'm trying to read them and talk at the same time, guys. But I hope you have a great weekend. Thanks for hanging out with me. Shoot me an email if there's something here you're interested in. If you want to get in on the Remembrance Day build, the bird and trout build, if there's any custom work, custom orders that you're interested in, if you want to check in on anything, go ahead and shoot me an email. Shop at knives.ca. And again, have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, guys.